Gather round. It's time for your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group. Listen closely as your coaches discuss the culture, the economy, and the political scene, and how it affects your home and your real estate investments. Real Estate Chalk Talk is where you learn the science of buying and selling real estate and the art of living in your home. Your education begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You can't keep up with increases in dues or special assessments or justify those outside of your insurance premium hikes. So they're looking to cut costs on their budget somewhere. And management is one of those costs. So
is it expensive to have a full management deal?
It can be. Yeah, I think it depends on the association, but more often than not, depending on how your contract is written with them, you know, how many meetings they're going to attend for you, how many property inspections they're doing on a monthly or yearly basis is going to affect your pricing. And I would guess that, you know, for your kind of run-of-the-mill, mid-size, standard 60, 70, 80 unit, you know, let's call it a townhome, management costs based on those factors are probably going to be anywhere between, you know, $1,200 to $2,000 a month.
Okay.
Give or take, right? Depending on what all that looks
for
like.
the entire association.
Yeah.
So between 10 and 25,000 a year.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty.
Okay.
10 would be really low.
Okay.
I would
So
say.
15 to 25,000, is that common?
Yeah,
Okay.
which would be a decent chunk of the budget depending on what your dues are. Like I said, it's kind of hard to put it in a box.
Yeah.
But what we would do is a lot of what your traditional management style does. So we're going to come alongside these boards and help them with a lot of the backbone, specifically the financials, nowadays the technology package, and a lot of admin work. So what we're not doing is quote unquote managing the property. Okay. So we don't have to have a person there to do the inspections, which is really necessary in a lot of communities and not necessary in a lot of other ones, because it's really easy for those volunteer board members or committee members to just snap a photo and say this person needs a violation because they don't, you know, they left the trash out or whatever. So we're kind of doing all that. And now the boards, without having to pay more than they need to, they just have to maintain relationships with vendors and handle certain homeowner concerns. Right? Maybe it's a maintenance request that we don't, know, or they have their own specific vendors to handle X, Y, or Z. It can run pretty well, and we're going to save them probably 50 to 75% of what they're paying, which isn't going to necessarily be the answer to all their problems. But, you save 10 grand here, 15 grand there, depending on the size of your association, that matters. Yeah. Right? I mean, it can affect your budget in a positive way without having the board piecemealing together how to do financials and how to communicate with the community and how to do resales and all this kind of stuff. We'll still do all that, and it's just a fraction of the cost because we don't have to pay for the physical body of the person to be there.
So the main difference between HOA Assist, which you run, and like a full management company is the person on site checking out the property. Is that the main thing? Pretty
much. Yeah. I mean, it can get a little bit more granular when you come to, like, some condos ask a question a lot. What do you do for emergency contracts, right? Like, what if a pipe bursts at 2 a.m.? A lot of management companies have that service, right? They have an emergency service. How will they work? I don't know the answer to that.
Right.
But HOA Assist doesn't have that, right? So you would still contact a board member, or you would have a contract with some remediation company that, the homeowners know to call them if that were to ever happen. But for the most part, you're exactly right.
Okay.
We don't have.
So you're not actually you're just straight not involved in the day-to-day operation of the association from a on-site standpoint.
Correct.
That's up to the president and their maintenance committee or whoever it is.
I've put it this way before. I would say, and a lot of people might agree with me on this, a lot of people might not, but you're paying a traditional management company to be the punching bag for the board.
Okay.
So homeowners and board members have someone to point the finger at and blame if things aren't going well.
Sure.
They'll just blame the manager.
Yeah.
They'll request a manager change. They'll jump ship and go to a different management company, which could be legit, but that's really the main difference is we're going to operate in the background. You're kind of outsourcing these things to us. we're going to help things run smoothly, especially when boards turn over.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have, Susan who's doing everything for 3 years and she doesn't want to do it anymore, and it goes to Gary, Susan's not doing it one way, and then Gary's doing it another way, and then 5-10 years later, it's kind of this soup of different people. When boards turn over, when you're with HOA Assist, all that stuff still stays really consistent, and so that's really helpful over time, right?
Is there a size where it makes sense to have a full-blown association take care of it, or a housing style that where it's like, something you really need the full service?
Oh yeah.
We're just and for your own protection, you say, we're just not going to do this because it's not going to go well.
Yeah, it's a great question. Absolutely. Oftentimes it's the larger ones when they have maybe a lot of amenities, condos. Obviously, you think of downtown. You would have to have rock star board members that are retired, that this is all they want to do to manage their property, and that's just not very realistic. Now, we do work with some that have on-site staff, right? So everything kind of funnels through the on-site staff, and the on-site staff kind of manages the building, and we manage everything else. That can work out pretty well.
Okay.
But yes, traditional management is absolutely still a thing. And it's probably more for your larger, more complex type of associations. They just have more going on, more repairs, more amenities. But thankfully for our company, that's not every association. I mean, there's so many of them out there that don't need all that or just don't have all that. So it works out well.
How about the other way?
We're a good complement to them.
How about the other way? Is there because you've got minimum costs, minimum charges that you do. Is there a case where something is just so small, like a converted apartment building with 6 units, where it's just like, look, you guys can do this yourself. You don't need.
It's funny that you say that because we have a lot of smaller communities.
Okay.
And yeah, some of them probably don't. But I mean, we work with a community that's 2 units.
Oh,
seriously?
And, yeah. And they're great.
Bob.
They're great.
We call that a duplex.
Yeah, exactly.
But oftentimes their budget just doesn't even justify it, right? Like it's a minimum charge. Let's call it $250. Well, even if you break that down for 5 units, that's $50 a month per unit. It just depends. Is it worth it to you guys for us to have it do it or not?
Right.
And if it is, awesome. We're probably going to be a perfect partner for you. But I'm not going to blame you if you say that's too expensive either.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, depending on the people, they're just like, look, I don't want to do the paperwork. That'd be me.
Yeah.
I don't want to do the paperwork.
What is the primary benefit of your company to a smaller or self-managed association?
Probably removing some of the liability and burden that would fall on the board for specifically doing a lot of the financial stuff. So it would be harder for we have the proper checks and balances in place where we don't have one person cutting checks that we do approving invoices, right? So we have the checks and balances there to make sure that there's fraud protection and all that kind of stuff. So it's probably more so that, along with streamlining things and not having the board essentially burn out. And the board's involved, don't get me wrong, but not having the board burn out over this technical back office type of stuff. They can then just focus on kind of running the HOA. They don't have to be the one behind the scenes pulling all the levers.
With 30 seconds about here for you, what's your ideal, so folks listening that live in a small association or association, maybe not small, what's your ideal number or type of association that you like to work with? Yeah,
good question. Probably your small to mid-sized type. So that would range anywhere from, no one's off limits, but two. But I would say anywhere from, your mid-teens or something up to like 60 or 70 units. It's kind of that middle ground that seems to work really well. We do work with the really small ones. We work with some really large ones too. So,
really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Mitch with HOA Assist. Give us a website that they can go to.
Yep,
it's
HOA-assist.com. You can find our number there. If you're interested, you can call my cell directly. It's 952-240-8521.
Cool.
You said that rather quickly.
Yeah. We're running out of time.
HOA-assist.com.
Yep.
Check them out there. We'll be right back with more Real Estate Chalk Talk when we return. Give us a call at 612-627-8000.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. We're with Mitch Gasson, HOA Assist. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group, Keith. The two Keiths, and Kelvin Kamick.
Do you want to give Mitch's number? Because he said
what
it
is
really
your number?
fast
You said it
last
fast.
So our office line, you can always get in touch with us there. It's 855-952-8222. If you're interested in talking to me directly on the sales side and you're looking to see what we can do with you or for you, contact me. My cell phone is 952-240-8521.
So I was just recently sold a house in Woodbury. It has tennis courts, pickleball courts, and a pool. Single-family development. That's all that they have. There's not mailboxes or monuments or anything like this. There's a fair amount of homes within the development. Everybody pays, I think it's $195 a year or something like this, or $295 a year. Pretty small.
Mm-hmm.
And these homeowners then get access to this pool. Of course, there's maintenance for a pool and for the tennis courts, and they're reserving money and things like this. I was the listing agent of the property. We had a lot of conversation with the seller. Seller seemed to know very little about the association, what documentation there was or wasn't. Apparently, there's a gentleman there that's running the whole thing, and it took me about 14 days to get him to get back to me. And then for him, another maybe 5 days for him to then get me all of the documentation. So it took almost 20 days to turn documentation around.
Crazy.
This is a self-managed scenario.
Mm.
It sounds like they could have used a little help from what you're describing. So that's some of the things that I see when I'm working with these smaller self-managed associations that a company like yours could possibly assist with.
Right.
Can you speak to that? Just talk a little bit about the difference between what Keith was talking about, where you got single-family homes with a few common elements that are maintained for the benefit of the people in the association, versus a townhome, which everyone can kind of get their head around. That, how would you work with that single-family home development, and how would it differ from a townhome?
Well, in this example, you would have contacted HOA Assist to get that documentation. We have someone that's dedicated specifically for the resale side. So you order the documents on the website, and depending on how quickly you need them will depend on how quickly you get them. Usually it's like 5 to 7 days or something. It's like a standard order.
Yeah, very
there's a
typical.
statute.
If you have a rush for whatever reason, I think you pay a rush fee and we can get it turned around in 24 or 48 hours.
Right.
I have I know you'll go somewhere else, but why does it take? Isn't this a PDF file somewhere and you just go click, send?
Well, kind of.
It doesn't. It shouldn't take 7 days.
There's more to it.
Okay.
I mean, volume of order, I think, also affects some of that.
Okay,
but
that's probably
we're pulling information from the system, so some of that gets loaded in there. But then there's also some of these other kind of nuances that I'm sure you guys are aware of, assessment information and claim information and all this kind of stuff that we have to complete that order.
Okay.
But it's also going to be far faster than what you've experienced, because you probably have a volunteer doing it who lives there. This isn't his job. He's not getting paid for it, and this is very low on their priority list.
He's the retired gentleman in the development.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we actually collect a fee for it, so it's of our interest to get this done for you.
Right.
Got it.
Got it.
And I know it doesn't always happen as quick as possible, but for all companies, but that's part of the service we're providing to the HOA. We're shielding the board member from having to get those calls, and we're going to do this so that they don't have to.
What about insurance claims and how is that handled with your service as opposed to a full-fledged association management company? When an insurance claim comes in, are you in communication at all with the insurance company to receive notifications or all that, or is that wholly on the board?
A lot of that's going to fall on the board, so
Okay.
that would be a difference in like your traditional versus the HOA Assist side. Is the manager is typically going to spearhead all that, and the board's going to spearhead all that if you're with HOA Assist. We might get involved to an extent, especially when it comes to like if we're billing. Obviously, we need to know what's going on and all that kind of stuff, but you're probably going to have a main contact person be someone on the board, unless you're one of these other associations that has on-site staff that outsources to us. Then that's going to be the manager.
Okay, then what about the communication side then? So the board has a their board meeting
Mm-hmm.
or the membership meeting or whatever you call it. You're not attending those meetings because you're not managing anything. You're doing the financials only. How does that communication go then? Do you receive copies of the minutes to include in your packages, or how is that communication then guaranteed to flow to you?
Ideally, yes. But and I would say most are pretty good at that. Most of them give us the information that we need, and then we put it on the system. The system actually, like, you as a board member could just do it too, right? So there's plenty of opportunity for all that to be uploaded on your own. Communication can go out from us. That's really standard. A lot of times we do that, where we'll blast out, hey, the board just had a meeting. Here are the minutes that were approved from the last meeting. And then we have some clients that aren't very good at it either. And so that's where, if you are going to be on the board, even if you don't want to be, or you got roped into it, it's important that it doesn't have to be a full-time job. You don't have to treat it like you have the nuclear codes, but you should care a little bit, right? Like, it is important. That's a legal document, right? The minutes are a legal document, and the homeowners have a right to know what's happening.
What about you maintain the financials then? You do the record keeping and things like that. You collect the dues?
Yes.
And then what if someone doesn't pay? Is that you're going after the money then, or is it the board that's going after the money? Who's knocking on the door and saying, hey buddy, pay your dues?
Yep. So obviously all that's going to be tracked through us. Part of our responsibility is to let that person know that they're behind. So we will send them a statement. We can send them kind of a notice, a warning letter, so to say. But that's triggered by the board. Okay. Every association kind of has their own policy on how they handle delinquencies, and so we leave that up to them. Okay. Some people are really strict about it, and they say at 30 days send them this, at 60 days they're going to an attorney.
And we have 90 days Guido knocks on the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have others that are really lenient on it. They may not send a letter. Obviously we're going to be sending that monthly statement, but they may not trigger any other action for 90 days at all. So it's a little bit all over the map.
What did you find during COVID with a lot of people just not paying their association dues, actually not paying their mortgage or not paying the rent? How did you guys deal with that? Did you see like a lot of people get behind during that period of time because everybody was scared?
There was a lot of grace that was extended from board members to their neighbors. Yes.
What about so when you maintain the records and the financials and the check, you got the money. I mean, you have access to the accounts. Are you outsourcing some of that, or is that all in-house for you?
What do you mean by outsourcing?
Well, we've had a problem recently where we had the actual financials and the reporting was coming from some company in Colorado. Oh. And they really didn't, and it's a large company that associations from all over the country are kind of shipping their stuff to them, and they knew nothing. They couldn't tell you where Apple Valley was on a map. They had no idea.
Yeah, no, all of that's done in-house.
Okay.
Yep. So all the financials, everything is done in our office, and we know where all that's coming from.
What kind of reporting off do you do then to the board? I mean, how familiar are you with the board members, and do you meet with them annually, or how's that work?
Yeah, pretty familiar. I mean, we get to know each other. Okay. We have a pretty good relationship. Our retention rate's really high. It's like 95 plus, 98 plus %.
Oh, wow.
So if you're a good fit for us and you feel the same, we're probably going to stick with you for quite some time. But I'm sorry, Keith. What was the first?
Just the meetings and the communication between you and the board.
Yep, it's pretty solid.
Okay.
We obviously aren't attending those on a regular basis, but if they need to get a hold of us, every board member has my contact information directly. They have my business partner's contact information directly too, in case for whatever reason it's like an emergency. But that doesn't happen super often, right? They're usually pretty good about kind of flowing through the proper channel, but the financials that we provide to them, the board member financials are pretty detailed. I mean, it's a full-blown financial packet, and then the homeowners actually get a balance sheet, income statement, statement of revenues and expenses, and on a monthly basis too. Those are automatically uploaded. So I think what a lot of homeowners like about partnering with us too is they don't feel like they're left in the dark, because every month the board members get their packet, and then we take away some delinquency information. Homeowners don't need to know that their neighbor hasn't paid, that kind of thing. So homeowners get the a financial picture every month along with board members. Board members obviously just have more info.
Okay. It sounds like you're a great benefit to self-run, self-managed associations. HOA Assist, give us your website.
HOA-assist.com.
And that 855 number one more time.
855-952-8222.
Thanks for coming in. This is Real Estate Chalk Talk. We're going to head out to break. Give us a call, 612-627-8000, and we'll be right back.
But we're going to wrap
money in the bank.
Rates are good. Pretty exciting.
You know why? Right.
Free money. You understand what I'm saying?
Hey, welcome back to the program. Thanks for sticking around. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk, the big money segment of the program. 651-231-2500. That's Galvin's number. The great rates, the low price, My Smarter Mortgage. Galvin, what do you got?
Well, we got a lot going on in the mortgage market. Finally, starting to see a little bit of
crack in the
dam here. So it's kind of fun to see that we're seeing a little bit decrease in rate. So we're locking some people around 6.5.
Okay.
And
but that's not the first time this year it's been 6.5.
Lowest rates in 11 months.
No kidding.
Right now. Yeah. So, and there's a couple that you're able to get just a hair under that, depending on credit. FHA though, you got a 5 in front of it now, right? So high 5s for FHA, mid 6s for conventional money. So really good, really good right now. So I would love, we talked in the first segment a little bit about what will the Fed do coming up. September 17th is the date to watch. And they've already baked in. So one thing everybody's got to understand, yesterday, so we're reaching out to a lot of people, because we have a lot of people at 7.5, 7.875, that you're going, hey, we can pick up a point right now. Why don't we do it? And we have a lifetime guarantee, so there's no lender fees, no appraisal fee on the refi. So it's super inexpensive to just refi, get that lower payment. You skip 1 or 2 house payments. So makes a ton of sense for a lot of people. So it's kind of fun. I feel like, this is what it feels like to be busy. That's neat.
Yeah.
Because you're just getting swamped with refi calls.
It's so busy right now. I can't even talk about it.
Can't even deal with it.
But it is better. But what people are telling me is they're saying, well, I was talking to my husband, and I think we might wait because we hear rates are maybe going to come down. I said, you have to understand, everything is priced in.
Mm-hmm.
So a 1/4 point Fed cut on September 17th is priced in. You will not see a reduction in mortgage rates after that.
I think it's unlikely that they go 1/2 point, but if they did, that would be a surprise to everybody, and then you'd see a little reduction.
I don't know how much of a surprise that'd be.
Yeah. So, and I'll just quote here, mortgage rates are decreasing due to expectations that the Federal Reserve will cut key interest rates, a slowdown in the economy, lower inflation, increased demand for bonds. When the economy slows, inflation cools, the Fed often lowers rates to stimulate activity. So that's kind of where it's going. There is the JOLTS. Have you heard of the JOLTS report? It's the Job Openings and Labor Turnover Survey.
Okay.
So those numbers came out. Job openings were down 176,000 to 7.18 million, 219,000 lower than estimates. So it's really not what the number is. It's more like, what do people expect, and was it better or worse? So, well, it was worse, right? So, and then the previous month it was revised down by 80,000. So just means there's not as many jobs. The labor market is slowing up a little bit, tightening. So we're seeing some of that right now. So all of those things are leading the Fed to probably look at and say, okay, we should probably lower rates, try to stimulate things a little bit. Anybody that has any social media or the TV knows that Trump is just hammering Powell on lowering rates, right? So I think we'll see that. Refi demand is up, right? So purchases are down a little bit right now, but refi, we're making up on some refi stuff. So one cool thing though that happened this week for me was I had clients, they're out looking at homes and they go, hey, we found this great property at a big box builder. I'm like, son of a.
Gonna get bumped on that deal.
Didn't get bumped. 2 reasons. One, good realtor. no different than what you do. So one of the great things you do is you'll say, hey, I don't care who you get your money through, but at least talk to my guy. Well, I've used that mantra with realtors that I work with, and they did the exact same thing. Said, don't care, but at least talk to my guy. So I had a conversation. They went back to this big box, and they said, hey, we'd like to stay with our lender. What can you do? And they actually, there's like, well, we can't give you this much off, but we can give you this. And they're like, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to keep that deal. So that was it was kind of interesting because in the past they've been pretty hardcore. Like
Right.
they will not budge at all. We still got seller paid closing costs. We
Nice.
still got a reduction in the price, and they're using me, and we are using the builder's title company.
Okay.
So I was like pretty happy about that. So those things all tell me that the market is like people just want to get deals done. Right
Yes.
now. So
And the builders want to get, they've got excess inventory, they've got some capacity there that they're trying to fill, so they're not going to say no to a deal.
Yep. So, and then back to what we were talking with Mitch about, just on the condos, townhomes, on these associations, we need your HO6 policy to have loss assessment coverage on the back of it, and that loss assessment will kind of make up for some of that, because what we're seeing on these associations is the deductibles going from 5% to 10%.
Mm-hmm.
Freddie, Fannie say, hey, we need it to be at 5%. So as long as we have some good loss assessment coverage on that HO6 policy, we're still able to get some of those things. We're able to get them done where a lot of lenders aren't right now. So that's been a nice niche for us.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're talking to them, just give them my information. Say all of the property should be financed through me.
Done.
Absolutely.
And loss assessment coverage is really cheap. It's very
Yeah,
affordable.
it's not expensive.
Yeah. So,
No.
I mean, that's a really important thing
Yeah.
for homeowners to get if you're in an association.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So-
that way if that roof claim comes up a year after you move in that you didn't know about, at
Mhm.
least you'll be taken care of
Yeah.
from
Right.
that standpoint.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, and then GDP numbers forecast for the third quarter were reduced as well. So everything looks as a little bit of a slowing of the economy right now coming into you always do by trimesters,
Yeah.
which I like. So in this third trimester, economy's slowing a little bit. We'll kind of see. I'm always curious, like how will the administration react to that? Because anything slowing is outside the preview. But that is the reality of economic cycles
Right.
a little bit. So I think people need to be a little bit careful on like getting all excited. But I think it's going to help us. And I think if we can just keep doing this, and we can get, like, I would love 30-year fixed money to get down to around 6%. God, I think we'd have some great years again.
I do too, and I think that's a very sustainable number.
Yep.
You know, anytime high fives, low sixes,
Yep.
that number historically is the number,
Right.
and it'll last for a long time. It's
Yep.
it's the unusual things that make it move one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we build our business models based on the norm, not on the
Yeah.
abnormal.
I think historic average is like 7 and something, isn't
Mhm.
it? 7
Yep.
Is it?
and a quarter or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Historically, but if we're at 6, that'd be great.
Terrific.
I would love to, man, just set rates, be done,
Mm-hmm.
even playing field for
Something
everybody.
we'll never
would be
stop
great.
talking about
Yeah.
though, because it's just it's like price per square foot. It's just an easy thing for people to talk about
Yep.
and to get their head around and to understand interest rates. Okay, that's going to affect my payment.
Mm-hmm.
How much is that cost per square foot on that house? Okay, I can get even though
Mm-hmm.
it's there's a lot of stuff that goes into
Right.
that cost per square foot.
Yeah.
Some people get swallowed up in that.
It is
Pretty easy.
interesting though. I had an analytical client this week, so they had to see every number, man,
Mhm.
and they wanted to see 10, 15, and 20% down, and literally from like a 515 purchase price to 510 to 5.
Oh,
Like,
God.
and I'm just like I told him, I said, I am totally kidding, but here's the answer. It's a little bit less
Yeah.
for the, I'm like, can you? But he couldn't do it.
No.
There's just something. It was like I just can't do it. I got to see the numbers.
Got to
I'm
have
like,
it on paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, just so you know, my numbers, promise they're wrong. Right? Because they are wrong,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm estimating homeowners.
Sure.
I'm estimating taxes.
Taxes, yeah.
Right? The only thing I can guarantee is what that interest rate's going to be. So
Right.
I said, so we're still guessing, but I love doing this because it's the fun part of my job. But
Yeah.
I also want him to know, like,
At least you got the guess on paper.
right. Yeah.
You have some uncontrollables there that
Right. And it's new. This is a new construction one as well. So then you're
Oh,
also
so you're-
coming off the mill rate.
yeah, your
Right,
taxes
so-
are land only.
Yep. So he's like, oh, it's only $258 for the year for taxes. I said, yep. and then you're going to be shocked
Yeah.
when it's
when it goes
When
to
year
450 per month.
Yeah.
Because that's what the estimate is, 450 a month.
yeah.
You know, so he's like, holy cow, how did, you know, he just, you know, one of these guys just wringing their hands, man.
Yeah.
I'm just like, God, it's fun to watch you nervous, you know, but we'll all come around. So that's kind of what's going on. Give us a quick update in the real estate market.
Update in the real estate market really is that the inventory, we're coming into that third trimester, like we talked about. The number of units on the market right now, 7683 versus 7348 a year ago, so up just 4.4%. Volume is flowing through at a normal rate. 766 new pendings this week. A year ago this week, it was 720. So again, that volume is up a tick. Year-to-date solds are, you know, almost flat. Almost flat, up like 400 units for the year. But listings taken are up about 5,000 units. So that's good news for buyers who have been really under pressure for about the last 5 years. Really, the buyer market's been under pressure, so they're doing pretty good. Mitch Gasson is in the studio. Gasson, that name is synonymous with property management. Has been around for about 40 years.
55
years, is that what it is? And you've got a new company, HOA Assist, that you've been working on for a couple of years. That bridges that gap between full-fledged management and doing it yourself. Terrific option. Growing like a weed. Got a lot of
we're good. We're up to 170 communities that we work with. Vast majority, or 80% or so, are in Minnesota. We do go to other states, so if you're listening from another state, give me a call still. I can still help you.
What state you in?
We're in 18 different states.
Okay.
No kidding.
Yep. So Florida's a big one.
Okay.
You know, we get a lot of customers from there too. A lot of inquiries. There's a lot of associations down there though, so I'm not surprised by that.
That's
outstanding. Great. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group. HittnerGroup.com, 612-627-8000. Give us a call. We'd love to have a chat with you. See you next week.